In this lab, I'm going to show you how to write, run, test, and debug a program in the zyBooks lab environment. So this is your first assignment area, and this is the integrated development environment, or IDE, that we're going to be using. It's entirely web-based, so you don't have to download anything, and it's on the page below this video. So the first thing is that this is our edit area, and this is where we type code that we want to run, right? So for us, we are just trying to do something that says hello world, and that's a really simple program. So we're going to just write public class main. Well, actually, it's going to be called hello world. And the name of the class that we define has to match the name of the file. So here we're defining a program called hello world, and this is in helloworld.java. We can also see other files in the files menu over here on the side, and sometimes you'll have more than one, but in this case we're just got the one, and this is where those are going to live, right? We also have to define a main, and this is public static void called main, and it takes a array of strings, and then we just want to do the one thing that we want to do, right? And we'll talk about what all of this stuff means in the very, very near future when we get to classes and methods and stuff like that. But for right now, this is just the standard. This is how a program in Java starts, right? So this is the most basic program that we can have. And this is an empty program. So main is where the program starts, and we can put all the instructions we want the system to follow here, right? So the only thing we wanted to do today is just print hello world. And we do that by doing system.out.println, and then in double quotes, hello world, right? And we just do that. Now, to execute this program and see where the output is generated, I can hit run, and that will compile my program. It will translate it into code that the computer can run. It'll run it remotely, and then any output that my program generates, things like prints or asking for input or stuff like that, will be placed in the console. And the console is where we interact with the program that we've written. So we can enter information through the console, we can see information that has been printed out to the console, and we can change how our program behaves, right? So I can say hello Java instead. And if I hit run, it changes the output, right? So the code that I've written changes the behavior of the program and how it works when we click the run button. The run button is for testing the code yourself, and this is something you should do before you submit. You want to make sure that anything that you write, you know whether it works or not before you submit the code, right? Let's also make a small change. So I'm gonna show you how to correct an error and what an error message looks like. So I'm gonna remove a semicolon here, and this makes the program incorrect, right? We always need a semicolon at the end of statements that look like this. So I'm gonna hit run and see what happens. So it says Java hello world 3 error semicolon expected, and it points to where it expects the semicolon. Now, it's not always this smart. It tells us exactly where the semicolon should have been. This is saying in the Java hello world file on line 3, which is line 3, it expected a semicolon, and it expected, this little caret says it expected that semicolon at the end of that line, right? You'll encounter a lot of different error messages, and it won't always be able to tell you exactly where it is, but it'll give you hints, right? So you should always look above or around where it's telling you to find where the error is occurring, and read through the code yourself really critically and make sure it's following the rules, right? So that's what an error message looks like. So let's go ahead and run it again and make sure it still works. Great. And now that our program compiles without errors, and we think it's doing a good job, we can submit it for grading. So I'm submitting it for grading, and what this is doing is it's submitting it back to the system and telling us what, and running a bunch of tests against it that we as instructors have set up for you. So these tests will provide different inputs. They'll run your program in a lot of different contexts, and then it'll give you the feedback on what is correct and what is not. So in this case, my output was hello Java, and the expected output was hello comma world, right? So this is saying, this is highlighting the things that are different between what was expected. This is what we want to do, what the program is expecting as output, and this is what I did, right? So I can see that I have a space and I'm missing, I have space Java and I'm missing a comma, space, and world. So I can go back up here to my program and edit it so that it's saying, do I have an exclamation point? I should have an exclamation point, comma, world, right? And now if I'm going to run that again to make sure that it compiles and gives me the right output. Then I'm going to submit it for grading again. And I see all tests passed and a score of 10 out of 10. So I've written this code. You can write this code too, but do the same thing in your program and in your submission, and make sure that you submit. You'll only get points for when you submit for grading, so make sure that you do that after every, as you complete each program. Let us know if you have any questions.